an absolute willing blocker. I think that's the first thing that you look for in that position. You've got to be a physical blocker. I tell our tight ends coaches the first drill you ought to be doing every day is something where you're blocking. I don't want to look over there and see the first drill and you're throwing the ball to them. These guys got to be physical and nasty, just like a part of the offensive line. But then when you got a guy like him that's skilled enough to go out and catch the ball, you really have a dual threat player in that position. So we got some good bodies that you'll see, some good players that are coming into that grouping as well. But yeah, that was certainly something that we needed to identify. I think we talked last time that we were here, in the skills and drills phase leading up to spring football, I have the players play both sides of the ball. So we're going to find what is the best formula for Team 108 in San Angelo Central. And you may have been in Tucker's case, you may have been a primary defensive player a year ago, and you're going to be a primary offensive player this year. That's what this team needs in this formula, although Tucker's going to play a great bit of defense as well. He's going to be a kind of a dual threat player on both sides of the ball. So I'm excited about that.
Well, somebody's got to take the spot of Van Sickle. That hitting machine, and I think Tucker could be it. He can hit.
Yeah, he likes to strike people. He's a violent physical player, and he's got intelligence. I think that's one thing that Mason always put himself in the right position to make plays. I think playing linebacker, there's a lot of it that's physical, but I think it goes very
instinctual.
It's kind of underestimated how much intelligence that's required, to put yourself in the right position, and Mason certainly did that. Tucker's got the same kind of intelligence there. Cass Jastro on that side of the ball doing as well. Chris Walker had a tremendous spring, a returning starter at that position for us as well. So, yeah, a lot of really good players, around. I love the gel and the cohesiveness of this team and seeing it come together in year 3. Coming up, I think the best is yet to come.
Coach, they often say that you're finally in a rhythm, your third year in a job. You're coming into your third year now. How are you feeling coming into a position where these guys have all been with you?
I do. I think that it allows for a certain level of comfort, and I try to temper that a little bit with feeling very good about where we are as a program. I think that the things that allow me to feel comfortable is that the expectations are set within the team. I don't have to come into the building every day and think, man, I got to reinforce all of these different things to these guys because these things are new to them. They're not. They know exactly what I expect from them. The work habits that they have are in alignment with what it takes to win. I think for your first about 16 months in any program that you're at, you're spending a great deal of time and energy trying to establish those things. People call it culture, whatever it may be. I think when you're at this point, like you said, kind of year 3, that's set. We walk into the building and, man, those things are already in place. So those are issues that you don't necessarily have to keep your eye on 100% of the time because the program is taking care of itself in those areas. So that gives me a great deal of comfort about where we are. And then I just love the progression. I tell the story this way. I remember my very first spring here. I got hired February 1st. And then as we started to do our skills and drills phase during off season, I tell the guys, all right, we're going to do this during the athletic period, and then you're going to come back after school and duplicate this work on your own. And okay, and then so I show up after school that day, and here we are out on the field. There might have been about 20 or 30 guys out there duplicating that work, and I'm like, where's everybody at? Like, what's going on here? And that hadn't been an expectation, there to come back and do that. So then, man, we had to establish that, and we got more and more showing up, and we're 200 strong every day after school on their own, doing what they need to be doing. And it's not because they're asked to do it; it's because they want to do it. I think we've turned the corner now within the program that the expectation is everybody knows. Okay, doing the minimum, okay, is the worst thing that you can possibly do. This game requires all the time, effort and energy put into what we're doing. You want to get rewarded in this game, you put everything into it. You want to get punished, do the minimum.
Isn't that a great thing whenever you've seen that and you've gone from where you were to where you are now, and you go, because I know I did it in my program, going, what do I look for now? Oh, I've got to find something else.
Yeah, there's always things. There certainly is, but I think it does. It creates a level of comfort for me as a coach, and then you can take your energy and your resources and put them into some different things that you might have not been able to put them into the first 16 months that you're on the job because you're trying to set things up a certain way. So That's a great deal of comfort in me knowing that, and we got a group of guys that I tell them, hey, this is when we're gonna be here today. They are all there, ready to go. You know, this is the work that we're going to get done today. I know we're going to all give it everything we got during this amount of time. This is what I need from you outside of what we're doing in here. They're doing it. So we've got them captured that way, which is good, but it's captured in a way that, you know, it's not just doing it because you asked them to. They want to do it, you know, and they want to do it for one another. That's part of the brotherhood, the camaraderie within the team. And when you've got connected teams, you know, you've got a chance. And when you've got talented teams that are connected, now you're a championship level team.
Right.
Coach, I've been here for 8 years, so looking back at the records, what you guys did last year was really phenomenal. Do your guys understand how close they were to being even better, looking at the teams that finished first and second in district and how well they played against those teams?
I do, and I think that you know, it goes back to situational football, which we spent a lot of time in the spring game on right there. I think the margin of error is so small, and you can look back at games that were won or that were lost and find here was that little moment when this thing happened, okay, it turned the game just a little bit for us or for them or whatever the situation might have been. I think back to my first season, and, you know, we go 4-6 and we lose 5 of those 6 games by a combined 25 points. So, you know, when you look at less than 1 touchdown in that, and then what might have been something that happened in that game that, man, if you just change this one thing, the entire outcome is flipped. And so, and then you fast forward to a year later, and now you win twice as many games. You go 8-4. A lot of those things went our way, you know, this past season. You win a playoff game, and you continue to build momentum. But I continue to just, the details of what you do absolutely matters. You know, whether I'm the backside receiver on a run play that's going away from me, I have to haul my booty down that field to cut off the backside safety to make sure we can spring this run all the way. And that's the way I see it. And I look at it like if that guy's not doing his very best to get over there and straining, you know, and he's got to assume this ball's going to spit all the way out, and if I don't do my job right here, man, he may make the tackle. So I think that's the detail of the work and the expectation that we're looking for, but I think it's the little things that you have to make sure that you address, and part of that was teaching a lot of situational football this spring.
Yep. Well, hey, we're going to take a quick break, and whenever we come back, we're actually going to have a surprise for y'all. We're gonna have somebody that we're very proud of and somebody that we enjoy having up here, and you may have seen her once before. So we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back right after this.
Check out why First Community Federal Credit Union is the #1 local auto lender in the Concho Valley.
With great low rates on new, used, and refinance autos, we can save you money. First Community has great payment options and low prices for GAP, extended warranty, and credit life insurance, so we can make your payment fit your budget. So be smart, bank smart, and contact First Community for your auto financing needs.
At Schertz Landscape, we care about the quality of trees that you put in your landscape. Therefore, we grow our trees here locally in the Concho Valley. As a certified arborist, I not only care about the quality of your tree being planted, but I am also qualified as a tree risk assessor. I can evaluate the health of an older tree or the risk that it may have to you and your property. Come see us at Schertz Landscape, where we care about the quality of your trees.
Pain is never planned, and recovery time is never convenient. But the last thing you want to do is wait for answers. At Angelo MRI, you are more than a number. We can get you results within 24 hours at a price you can afford. So when you need to get back into the game fast, tell your doctor you want to go to Angelo MRI. We hope you don't need us this season. But in case you do, remember, it's your health, your choice, your MRI.
In the competitive world of pickup trucks, the Toyota Tundra has proven itself time after time. At Mitchell Toyota, we have a great selection of Toyota trucks in stock. Save $5,000 off a new Tundra or choose 2.99% APR. The Toyota Tundra has a reputation for reliability, longevity, and value retention. And so does the Toyota Tacoma. Plus, you can save with 5.99% APR. Get yours at Mitchell Toyota, where we put the deal back in dealership.
Check out why First Community Federal Credit Union is the #1 local auto lender in the Concho Valley.
With great low rates on new, used, and refinance autos, we can save you money. First Community has great payment options and low prices for GAP, extended warranty, and credit life insurance, so we can make your payment fit your budget. So be smart, bank smart, and contact First Community for your auto financing needs.
At Schertz Landscape, we care about the quality of trees that you put in your landscape. Therefore, we grow our trees here locally in the Concho Valley. As a certified arborist, I not only care about the quality of your tree being planted, but I am also qualified as a tree risk assessor. I can evaluate the health of an older tree or the risk that it may have to you and your property. Come see us at Schertz Landscape, where we care about the quality of your trees.
Pain is never planned and recovery time is never convenient. But the last thing you want to do is wait for answers. At Angelo MRI, you are more than a number. We can get you results within 24 hours at a price you can afford. So when you need to get back into the game fast, tell your doctor you want to go to Angelo MRI. We hope you don't need us this season. But in case you do, remember, it's your health, your choice, your MRI.
In the competitive world of pickup trucks, the Toyota Tundra has proven itself time after time. At Mitchell Toyota, we have a great selection of Toyota trucks in stock. Save $5,000 off a new Tundra or choose 2.99% APR. The Toyota Tundra has a reputation for reliability, longevity, and value retention. And so does the Toyota Tacoma. Plus, you can save with 5.99% APR. Get yours at Mitchell Toyota, where we put the deal back in dealership.
Check out why First Community Federal Credit Union is the #1 local auto lender in the Concho Valley.
With great low rates on new, used, and refinance autos, we can save you money. First Community has great payment options and low prices for GAP, extended warranty, and credit life insurance, so we can make your payment fit your budget. So be smart, bank smart, and contact First Community for your auto financing needs.
Thank you guys so much for joining us again. We're going to be doing some questions with some of the Bobcats. Ethan, we're going to start with you. You're a returning starter on offensive line. How do you think things went this spring, and what do fans have to look forward to?
I couldn't hear anything.
How do you think things went this spring, and what do you have to look forward to?
I think the unit returning for the offensive line is very strong. We're returning me, Parker Havercroft, Jose Ibarra, so I mainly think that our run game is mainly going to be a big part of our offense.
And Micah, you're the returning starting quarterback. You threw for 27 touchdowns and ran for another 3. Tell us about your development from last season to now.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, everybody's been developing, but personally I think just my mechanics have improved greatly. I've put on a good amount of weight, gotten stronger in the weight room, and just looking to take that experience into next year.
And Tucker, now moving on to you. You played primarily starting outside linebacker last season, and now you've played a little bit of tight end. So should we expect you to play both, or how's that going?
Right now, I'm currently expecting to hopefully play both sides. But also I'm just looking, put in work where work's needed. Filling in gaps for tight ends that we lost last year, and I'm just looking forward to being able to do that and hopefully playing both sides. So,
how's that transition been?
It's been a challenge, but it's nothing that's just too difficult. It's just extra time, extra work that's got to be put in, and yeah, I'm ready to do it.
For sure. And Gavin, this will be your 3rd year starting at wide receiver. Tell us about your development from your first season to now.
I think we've improved a lot over the course from last season, and so I'm gonna have my guys working hard, and yeah, that's about it.
Ethan, back to you. You're also a returning first team all-district player. So what do you feel like your strengths are in the game?
I feel like my biggest strength would probably have to be my run game blocking. I feel like I set a tone. I'm firing up front, and every single time we get into a game, I think the defensive line and the defense just in general they know that I'm going to establish the run game and help my team set the tone up front.
Moving back to Micah, tell us about some of the other offensive players that fans should have their eye on.
Yeah, this spring we've seen a lot of growth. Some new guys coming into roles in the receiver room. Gavin Johnson specifically right here, he's my big returning guy. I expect him to play the main role, be a big contributor within it. And then we've also got Ellis Johnson, Tucker Beatty, Grayson Patrick, and a few other guys just and Jesse Smith, just getting everybody into this pass game and working it out.
Tucker, tell us about your plans to showcase both positions in the recruiting process.
So my plan is this summer I'm working on going to a lot of camps, and I plan on hopefully trying to work with the camps to where I can play offense and defense at those camps. But if that doesn't end up working out well, then I'm just going to try and work on tight end mostly. I've gone to a lot of camps for outside linebacker, and I think I'm going to try and start extending that into more tight end. So,
whoever wants to take it next, tell us about your recruiting process so far.
Yeah, the recruiting process is a wild ride. It's kind of up and down, but me personally, I've been able to gain some interest recently from some good schools, and it's been good, and I'm looking to continue that momentum into the season. But at the end of the day, I'm just looking to play as good as I can for my team and let everything work out.
Ethan, Gavin?
I mean, the recruiting process is really crazy. It all got sprung on to me at the end of January when I got my first offer from Oklahoma State. And from there, it's just like a whirlwind. It's crazy. 1 week, you're hearing everything from everybody, and you think it won't ever stop, and then the next week, it's dead quiet. And it's an amazing process, but it's definitely something that you have to take care of and manage, because those schools are recruiting you and your talents, and so you have to show out for them.
I go. I don't have as many looks as these guys right here, but I also haven't talked to as many coaches, and I think I just need to work a little harder, put myself out there more. Twitter's a big thing, and so I got to be active on there. So.
Well, last question for you guys. What's your favorite off-the-field memory with each other?
So actually mine right now, before practice in the afternoons, there's a group of guys that will play hacky sack. So that's kind of mine. It's kind of fun. Kind of sparked randomly, but it's just a fun little hobby we do as a team that helps build a connection with the new guys and helps bring everybody together.
Yeah, hacky sack's been really fun. That's something that's come on recently, but I also enjoy getting out on the course with my guys. Kind of got a good group, and we go out and play some golf, Pickleball out there too, just continuing to form bonds and friendships with all these guys.
I would say my favorite memory off the field is probably going to this guy's house, Tucker Beatty, and growing some stuff, and we go and swim and take pictures, and it's great because you get to bond and you talk, and you figure things out about yourself and your teammates and your friends that you didn't know before.
My favorite would be going to Ethan's house, and he has a pool, and we play pool basketball. It's just so much fun.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us, and good luck this season.
Thank you.
I think they cut.
Are we good?
At Sher's Landscape, we care about the quality of trees that you put in your landscape. Therefore, we grow our trees here locally in the Concho Valley. As a certified arborist, I not only care about the quality of your tree being planted, but I am also qualified as a tree risk assessor. I can evaluate the health of an older tree or the risk that it may have to you and your property. Come see us at Schertz Landscape, where we care about the quality of your trees.
Pain is never planned, and recovery time is never convenient. But the last thing you want to do is wait for answers. At Angelo MRI, you are more than a number. We can get you results within 24 hours at a price you can afford. So when you need to get back into the game fast, tell your doctor you want to go to Angelo MRI. We hope you don't need us this season. But in case you do, remember, it's your health, your choice, your MRI.
In the competitive world of pickup trucks, the Toyota Tundra has proven itself time after time. At Mitchell Toyota, we have a great selection of Toyota trucks in stock. Save $5,000 off a new Tundra or choose 2.99% APR. The Toyota Tundra has a reputation for reliability, longevity, and value retention. And so does the Toyota Tacoma. Plus, you can save with 5.99% APR. Get yours at Mitchell Toyota, where we put the deal back in dealership.
Check out why First Community Federal Credit Union is the #1 local auto lender in the Concho Valley.
With great low rates on new, used, and refinance autos, we can save you money. First Community has great payment options and low prices for GAP, extended warranty, and credit life insurance, so we can make your payment fit your budget. So be smart, bank smart, and contact First Community for your auto financing needs.
Welcome back to the Coach's Insider Show with Coach Mark Smith. I'm Arlen Ponder. He's Rob Ray. Coach, what'd you think about those guys up here?
How about those guys? Yeah. How about that girl over there too?
That was going to be my next one.
I know you teased our special guest right there. That's it. People that don't know, that's my oldest daughter. Michelle and I certainly are proud of her. She's just wrapped up her junior year at the University of Oklahoma studying journalism there, and this is what she wants to do, kind of work in sports journalism, and we're proud of her. And she got to jump on set last year about this same time, and then she did a great job again tonight. But proud of her, proud of the guys. I think.
Wait! You got to say it though. She interned. She applied to intern at ESPN.
She did,
and made almost to the final.
Yeah, she got
round.
down to the final. There was about 10,000 people, and she got down to about the last 20 in that deal to go to Bristol. So we're proud of her. She's right there on the edge, and just I'm thrilled. You know, we were kind of, man, she didn't quite get all the way in, but guess what? We get to get her for the whole summer right here now.
Right.
So she's going to be here helping us out, doing a lot of things with the family. So as excited as we were, you know, we know things work out the way they're supposed to. And she gets to come home. She just got home late last night. She drove right in and said, "All right, sweetie, you're going right to Shenanigans tomorrow night. Yeah, we're going to put you up on stage again." So
now, see, whenever I do
her.
that to Danica, she goes, "No, Dad, I'm not doing that." So at least yours does.
She took this back to her professors, you know, in the journalism school, the cuts from a year ago, and they were just super impressed with what she did. Just, you know, that just shows a lot of initiative when they go back home and they want to do things, they want to get involved. And so we're going to get her in with several of the local media here this summer and do a bunch of stuff with a lot of people around town here in the Concho Valley. So you may see her again on a screen somewhere over the course of the summer.
That'll be awesome.
Yep.
That'll be awesome. So, and I couldn't hear all the questions, but she had some pointed questions there.
Yeah, she did. She did her research. She did a great job on those things. And, you know, I'm grateful, you know, for each of the guys that were up here, you know, with Micah and Tucker and Ethan and Gavin Johnson and just kind of the nucleus of our team here. And we got a lot of guys that we could have had right up here on this stage that do a great job, that present themselves well. But proud of those guys there. Of course, Micah being my son. It's just, you know, it's been a pleasure as his coach and his dad to watch his growth and development, the way that he plays and carries himself. And then, you know, Tucker Beatty, I've shared this story before. His dad, Dr. Stacy Beatty, and I, you know, grew up together in Abilene right there. And so I've known him for a long, long time. And I remember, I think it's about my second day on the job, he popped in the office right there, and I didn't know that he was here in town. I'm like, Stacy, all right, and then his son being in the program has just been such a pleasure, you know, to be around. And then, you know, Susan, the entire family, all the girls, and just an amazing family there. And then you got Ethan Boyd, you know, just another one who's, you know, dad is a legacy player here at San Angelo Central. He was Mr. Bobcat, and I played against him in high school. We graduated the same year, but his picture's up. I walked down and walk past it every day on my way to the office. And, another surgeon here in town, Dr. Boyd, and of course his wife Rochelle, just great people here within the community and our program as well. But Ethan, and then the way he's carried himself, he's been highly recruited, just picking up those offers. And he's right, that becomes a stress and a strain, in a certain way on you. And you're on the phone all night with these coaches. I've been the guy on the other end of the line too, many years, and making all those phone calls throughout the night. But he's handled himself so well. He's attacked everything with a mindset that, man, all these things, they only come to if you work hard, you do things the right way, and you put yourself in the position to go out and to play well. And so and I'm glad Micah mentioned that too. Bottom line, I got to go play great for the Bobcats. You play great for the Bobcats, things work out the way they're supposed to. And then Gavin Johnson. Gavin will go play college football. He's got that in his future. He's got what it takes to go be an elite wide receiver at the next level. So I'm excited to see him develop too. Go out and attack every day, make plays for the Bobcats right there, and things will happen and they'll come your way. So many wonderful people here and their families that are represented. Each of these boys. We got a great community here in San Angelo.
I was telling Rob, hey, you're coming on board with us, and these Bobcat fans, they love it. I love being around the Bobcat fans because they are loyal. And the Angry Orange, we say, travels well.
We do.
They travel well, and they go to support the team, and that's a great thing.
You're coming on at the right time, Rob. Right there, we cleaned out the bathrooms here for a year and a half, and now we can. You're here, right at the right time. But I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you brought that up. We do. These families that represented these boys here, just a snapshot of what this community is, and I think it's a great snapshot of what the very best of San Angelo has to offer. And behind every great young man or young woman that's in our community is a strong support system. At home, whether it's mom, dad, it's granny, it's whoever it may be that's filling in those shoes. And in some cases it's a coach or it's a friend or something like that. But we do. This is a strong fiber of a community at its core, and I certainly get to see the best of it in my building every day.
Yeah, and you talked about grandma, so you got Z-Train's grandma,
Miss Wanda,
that we told her.
Oh,
you're basically the grandma of Concho Sports Network now. I hope you just know that.
She is. Miss Wanda is. She does. She represents all of our grandmothers in here. You see her, Miss Wanda, she got her buttons on all over the place. She got buttons of everybody. She's giving them to Miss Michelle, buttons of Micah, of me. And that that makes me smile when I see that. I just remember, my mom, she passed away a few years ago, and when I see Miss Wanda, I think of her. Because my mom was one, she had all the buttons on. From when you were like 6 years old, everything fit on that denim jacket that she wore around. I don't think she ever removed one. So that's just a great thing when you see, wonderful women, and certainly Zay's grandma, Miss Wanda, his mom, Miss Nisi, just another amazing family that just represents San Angelo so well.
Yeah, and you say that and you appreciate it. And I wonder what other communities that don't have that.
Sure.
I wonder how they deal with it, because you wonder how that team cohesion. And I've seen, recently where there's players not shaking hands and things like that. And you've established that. No, you're going to shake hands and you're going to be a Bobcat and you wear that jersey. And it's the whole community that wears that jersey.
Oh yeah, I think that there's certainly a way to conduct yourself, no matter what happens there, and being respectful. And sportsmanship is an important thing, but I think, we play in a highly competitive game, and there's a lot of emotion that goes into it. There's a lot, whether it be, on the field, on the sideline, in the stands, it's a lot, that's happening. And so, but, to be able to control that, and I think that is a skill that is lost on some people. I tell the players all the time, you have to control your emotions to control your performance. And if you can't control your emotions, your performance will be all over the place. We see those people in the stands, that have lost control. We see them on the sideline that lost control. We see them on the field that have lost control. So, it is a skill that you need to learn, that you will benefit from over the course of your life. If you can be in these moments, Kiplinger's ifs, it sits on my desk right there. It says, if you can keep your head when all those around you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, what a wonderful poem that is. But I think about that in the profession that I've chosen, and I try to teach that to our staff, to our players. You may see me down there getting rowdy and getting after it a little bit, but I promise you this much: it's intentional and it's with a purpose, and there's calm and control underneath that. So,
well, I don't think I've ever seen you lose control.
Never.
Never.
Yeah.
No.
Good.
Never.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? You're right. You're passionate, and that's what I enjoy about working with you is that you're passionate about football. You're passionate about not just being a coach. You're passionate about being a role model for those kids and being a father figure for them sometimes whenever they need that.
That's right. I think passion goes hand in hand with exactly what I do. I've been afflicted with a bad case of the want tos, I just do. I mean, I go to bed at night, I wake up in the morning, and I'm trying to find a way to get our team a little bit better. I think, I want to make it the best I can for them. I want their experience to be great. I want it to be great for their families. I want it to be great for this community. And above all, I want to win, and I think I'd much rather teach those life lessons in winning than in losing, and that's what we're all here to do. So, and this community deserves, a winner. This school deserves a winner. These young men and their families deserve a winner. So we definitely got the needle pointed in the right direction. We got to take another step and keep moving it that way with Team 108. I expect that. I think that my biggest takeaway from spring, and I shared it with our staff this morning, was just the cohesiveness of the team. I felt like, specifically talking to our defensive staff, we played well defense at times last year, played poor at times. And it was consistency that kind of was our Achilles heel there. Really strong games and some games that weren't as much, but I saw a consistent group over the course of this spring. I think it's 11 guys understanding, what to do, working together rather than sometimes 11 independent contractors on the field. I'm knowing my job, but how does it relate to the person next to me? We've taken that next step on that side of the ball where we got a cohesive group working together, and I'm expecting amazing things from our defense this year. I really am. I think that, that's going to be a really a strength of our team going forward. Offense, we got some really good firepower, coming back on this team, and some new guys that'll jump into roles there as well. And then kicking game is the difference maker a lot. So that's something that we spend a lot of time. We invest a lot of time there, probably more so than a lot of the coaches on my staff were used to in other places. But, I think that's a part of the game that you cannot neglect. The second that you do, it'll bite you. So we try to keep every single rock looked under, make sure that we've covered everything that we can cover to get this team as good as they can possibly be. But I feel great coming out of spring. We get ready to transition now to the summertime and what's required from us in the summer to make sure that we're in the best shape that we can be in to go kick it off against Abilene High, week 1, right here in San Angelo Stadium.
That's right. And so, Rob, you got anything before we?
I just have one question. I was actually talking about it during the game last week. Number one, these young men that you had up here, it's hard not to get excited and just anticipate hearing those pads popping in August, and you hear their passion for the game. They are great leaders. You would love to have 80 of them on your sideline, but oftentimes you will get 1 or 2 freshmen or sophomores that will push some of those upperclassmen that maybe aren't the top leaders, but they get into that end of their junior year and they're just kind of relaxing because they're thinking, I got this starting position made. Do you have a freshman or a sophomore that you came out of that spring game thinking he might push some of these guys a little bit?
Yeah, we do. There were several that caught my eye. I think that, when you think about those guys, I think back to Gavin Johnson, starting as a sophomore, Ethan Boyd starting as a sophomore for our football team. And they caught the eye, back during that same time. And there's always a few every year. And I think I got my eye on several, and I think that we will have some that'll be significant players that will help us out over the course of this season and help the Bobcats win. But I think that to speak on another point that you made, just to guard yourself, as you are a returning player, that you need to be more hungry than you were before. I think that there's a caution in getting into that zone where, man, I feel like that I've made it and I've arrived. This game is always moving. You have to move forward with it. So no one stands still. the game requires every one of us to be on the rise, and that's my challenge to all of the players. Wherever you are, you got to be a man that's continually on the rise. And this is a man versus man battle in what we do. Don't look at it always as it's me versus you. This is me versus me to push myself to be the best that I can be. So that's been my message to the players. And I think one of the things that I do well is I do keep them humble. I do. Man, as soon as you think you're good, I'm going to let you know, all right, that we got some work to do. And I do that respectfully and professionally. But I want to challenge these guys to make sure that they, there's never that complacency that leaks in, because as soon as that does, it's a virus that tries to grab the rest of your team. So, man, even when we play really well, sometimes I'm harder on the team that Saturday morning when we played really well, and I'm nitpicky about things because I want to celebrate the things that we do well, but I want to make sure that we have a hungry group of players out there ready to go, because that's what's required in this game to be the best that we can be. So really proud of them. I thought you saw last Thursday night we had 200 plus players out there playing from all levels and at different groups coming out at all different times, and a lot of different work that was getting done out there on that field. And come training camp in the fall, we'll have over 300. Another 100 will join that group of incoming freshmen. So our numbers in football participation continue to rise, each year, which is great. We're seeing the enrollment of our school slightly shrink, from year to year, but athletic participation is on the rise. And I think that says a lot about, what matters, within this community. And you're seeing, even in the midst of some of these other things, man, people are showing up to play ball. They're going to fill that stadium when the Bobcats come in and play. There's a lot of excitement around that going on right here. And I know that there's a greater expectation around this team going into this fall than there was the year before or the year before that. And I like that. I want the expectations to rise. I want to see our team meet that challenge, and take the next step in our program.
Yep. Well, speaking of that next step, how do you keep them engaged over the summer? I've coached for years in Maryland, and the summer was always the most challenging time because, even here in Texas, you essentially have to have a stopwatch on the amount of time that you as a coach can spend with them, but they can spend time in the weight room.
That's right.
And oftentimes you find that the kids, they don't understand that the summer is when you get bigger, faster, stronger.
Right.
And if you can't wait until the fall to say, I need to get bigger so that I can beat that man on the line. No, the summer is where it gets done. How do you keep them engaged?
I think you get what you emphasize. And, for me, I place a tremendous amount of importance on what we do in the summer. I start the messaging with our parents and everything well in advance of when the summertime gets here. And it's usually with younger players that you see, they're still used to having their vacation and going on, which I want them to. We all need to get a break a little bit here, but there's critical work to be done in the summertime. And we can do football skills and drills in the summertime now. The UIL, which is the governing body of athletics in the state of Texas, allows you 6 weeks to work your guys out in the summer, and you can do 4 days a week, 2 hours a day for 6 weeks.
Oh, cool.
So we got a plan that maps out those entire 6 weeks and a progression for what we go through, and our coaches are out there coaching our guys on offense, on defense, on kicking game. So we pick up right where we are with where we ended spring football in our progression of putting on offense and defense and kicking game. We'll pick up right there, and we'll continue to build on that. If you're not there in the summertime, you're getting behind. It's like math class, If you miss a couple of days of math class, man, I am lost, I knew what we were doing on Tuesday, and now it's Friday. What happened?
Right.
Same thing happens in football, and you quickly see yourself, some guys elevate, some guys move down in the depth chart just because of that. So I think you get what you emphasize. You emphasize how important that work is and the development that's required, to be at our best. And then you got to educate people. So that's your players, that's your parents, that's the community on what's required and what it takes. So, and then there's also the time, like you said, in addition to the 8 hours a week that you're given. And that's where, what I love most about where this team is. I mentioned to you 16 months in, the culture said, we'll finish up our time and we'll be back in the office. And I'm looking out the window and there's still guys out there working and competing and doing it. Even today, is our first, really full day off. We're doing some equipment clean out and some things like that and getting ready for summer. I look out there up at the field and I see guys out there carrying cones out there, carrying things out there, doing footwork drills. It's refreshing, and it shows how much people care about what they're doing. I see Gavin inside in the indoor getting some extra work in there on his footwork, and just one example of that. Mike was in the weight room getting stuff done. It was great. I think that we have a team that's invested and a team that brings people along, and they know what's required of them. So the summertime is a critical part of that development, and it gets you ready for what you're going to go do during training camp.
Okay, so I have one more because I was on my way to the spring game the other night and looked over there and I went, what are they doing? What are y'all doing in between the field house and the baseball stadiums? Softball and baseball.
They're putting in a turf field back there. So that was we had a full grass field and a half grass field back there. They're tearing that out. They're putting a turf field in right there. So a lot of times, I love being housing at San Angelo Stadium, and I hate being housed at San Angelo. I have a love-hate relationship with our location, and because of, it's a great venue, but we host a lot of different things in there. There's a lot of groups that come in and things that are happening within that stadium across the city at all different times of the year, and it's our place to practice football.
Right.
So sometimes we're kind of booted out of our own place, and that grass field is also where we throw the shot and the disc out there all the time, and it gets chewed up a little bit.
Right.
It's kind of sometimes not in the best shape that it can be in. And so as a part of this bond election that was passed last year, we're returfing a lot of things. On baseball's getting turf, softball's getting turf, complete turf. There won't be a stitch of grass or dirt on either of those fields.
Oh, that'll be cool.
We're putting a turf field in over there. Glenn Middle School is going to utilize that turf field back there as well, because they'll be breaking ground this summer on a new middle school for Glenn. And they're going to, where the existing school is, they're going to start to build it over on what is now the Glenn practice field. So those young men in the 7th grade will walk across the parking lot in the mornings next fall, and they'll practice on that turf field out there while older guys are located on the game field. And then so there'll be a lot of different things that we'll utilize that for. But great stadium, great venue, but yes, we need another turf field back there, so there's always a place for the Bobcats to go to work.
Well, I knew if I was asking, I knew that others had to ask. So, when are we going to sit down with you again, Coach? What are we going to wait till football season starts?
No, hopefully we'll get something here on the books again. I think that it's good to kind of communicate regularly. Like we discussed in here, there's a lot of important developments that happen in the summertime. So I'm down for it.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get another one on the books here with Concho Sports Network, and we'll be right back here at Shenanigans and get this done again. We need at least one more before we get going next fall.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So pay attention, and that's going to do it for tonight. I'm Arlen Ponder. He's Coach Mark Smith. He's Rob Ray. Pay attention, and we will do the Bobcat Insider again sometime soon. And that's all for tonight. Have a great night, and have a great summer, y'all.